Have you ever wondered how does it feel to play Overwatch in 2024? Well, if you think about it, it's honestly not too bad. You can still hop on Discord, play with your friends, lock in your favorite hero, and enjoy your free time gaming. But is it actually as good as it sounds? I'm gonna divide this video into 5 parts. It's PvE fail, monetization, competitive game, developers, and conclusion. So let's start with part number 1. PvE fail. It's not a secret Overwatch had a very rough history with the PvE fail. It had tons of negative reviews and a pure disappointment from everyone who was waiting for it. But was PvE the main point of why Overwatch started to falling off? In my opinion, it all started with this monster. This hero created one of the most known and the most broken meta in Overwatch called GOATs. She made a lot of pro players that play DPS role swap to a support role and learn Brick because playing other heroes became pointless. And if you couldn't adapt to play GOATs, then you could have gotten benched or even retire. Outside of GOATs, there were a very dry stage of Overwatch 1 where players had no updates for a long time. We were basically playing the same game without any type of content for multiple seasons, as well as there were no communication between community and developers. All we knew about is that Blizzard were actively working on Overwatch 2 and that all their resources were put into it. That felt absolutely horrible for most content creators and streamers. Complete silence and miserable hopes just to get jubited at the end. Now, let's talk about monetization. Since Overwatch turned into a free-to-play game, it might have one of the worst monetization system out of all games, and I actually mean it. The reason behind it is actually very dumb, so let me explain. In order to make skins in Overwatch, you have to make a skin model and the weapon skin for that model. While in Valorant, for example, the main focus goes only for a weapon skin, but that's not the main point. The thing is, Overwatch skins can never ever satisfy a player because it quite literally doesn't have anything. A 3D model with a weapon that you can't inspect. Just like with PvE, we also got promised to have a weapon inspections, which I personally was very excited for, and as you already guessed, it was also not added to the game. Jared News, also known as executive producer of Overwatch 2, said it's not their top priority, which is just ridiculous in my opinion. Players always liked flipping their knives, inspecting their weapon that they bought. It was part of the gameplay. You might think it's a small and unnecessary thing, but that alone just gives a massive space for different types of monetization. When Overwatch 2 came out, they introduced a battle pass, mythic skins, and new in-game currency, such as mythic prisms. With those prisms, you can either buy a mythic skin or unlock a levels of customization. Mythic skins are a new type of skins that you could customize. The prices for mythic skins and mythic prisms are just enormous. The mythic skin itself costs 50 prisms, which is $40. And if you thought you're getting the whole skin after that, you're getting jibaited again. When you buy a skin, you after need to unlock a levels of customization for it, which costs 10 mythic prisms, which is $10 for each level. In my opinion, it's an insane amount of price for such lame customization, because if a Valorant player buys a skin, he can inspect it, flex with it to other players, have a different reload animations or a finisher, and get a satisfying feeling while playing with it. While in Overwatch, all you get is a different model and a sound effects. There's a YouTube channel called PJ Rascals. The guy made a fan-made animations with mythic skins that are just incredible. Just look at the comparison.
Collapsing the barrier. Back to me.
Back to the past. Plane of travel never gets old.
A fan-made animation made a better customization than Blizzard, and this guy is still not hired. Just crazy. Now, let's talk about Battle Pass. It's a must-have for a free-to-play game model. You buy the Battle Pass, you play the game, and get the rewards. But there is one reward that I will never understand. It's souvenirs. Basically, it's a 3D model that appears in your hand. You can't move while using souvenirs, and it basically works just like a standard emote. But not only that, souvenir actually takes a slot in your emote menu. Yeah, there's no additional menu for souvenirs. This is the most useless cosmetic in the game, as it also doesn't even bring any kind of interaction between players. There is exceptions like a heart souvenir, for example, but 90% of them are just a 3D model. I have rarely seen anyone using souvenirs in a game, and it's ridiculous that they're still making these. I had my own solution on how to improve souvenirs a long time ago. Instead of just appearing in your hand, it will appear on top of your head while also not restricting the ability to move. something like emotes in League of Legends. There is two more ways Overwatch developers tried improving the cosmetics. First, they released a weapon skins around 6 months ago. It was a Hard Light bundle and Los Muertos bundle. It only had a different sound effects and skin model. That's it. Yeah, this alone just sounds so dry and bad even for a bundle. Just watch. Second, they released a Mythic weapon skins, which cost exactly the same as Mythic skins. 50 prisms for a skin and 10 prisms for unlocking a level of customization. It also had a new type of cosmetic, which is a flourish. Just a flourish. It's kind of a cheap version of weapon inspect, but you know, thanks to that at least. Now, let's talk about competitive play. As a player who mostly plays ranked in a role queue, I've been through all the changes and felt the pain through each season. But one of the main reasons ranked feels terrible is just a lack of player base. It's one of the main reasons, if not even the biggest one. Due to that reason, the developers who is responsible for ranked managed to boost a majority of Overwatch 2 players to make it up for queue times, which had been really long since Overwatch 1. Unfortunately, I couldn't find streamers' interview with developers saying that they went a bit too hard on it as it's no longer available. A major boost obviously led to a complete mess in ranked. Masters players can still match in with the highest ranked players, but in case if you didn't know, if you are a master player, you are automatically a top 100 player. How's that? Well, in Overwatch there is 9 ranks: Bronze, Silver, Gold, Platinum, Diamond, Master, Grandmaster, Champion, and Top 100. But the irony is that the highest rank is considered to be a champion, not Top 100, because the lack of players in Top 100 leaderboards is causing the system to push further and instead put Masters in Top 100 to fill in the pages. And at the end of the season, they are intentionally erasing every Master from the leaderboard, leaving only GM players. That's why you see those gaps. As you can see, the pages are not fully finished, as it should be 50 out of 50 for Top 100 to be completely full. Just another sign that there is not many players, as well as you probably queuing into the same people most of the time. Basically, if you're a Master or even Diamond at the beginning of the Top 100 release, you can have a very beautiful rank peak in your profile career. Screenshot it and flex with it to your friends. I am sure a lot of you noticed how you or your friends suddenly started to rank up, so I hope that explains why. Another thing that I really don't understand is that they removed a rank decay, meaning that you can camp your rank for a whole season, which is hard decreases the amount of competitiveness and increases the amount of smurfs in the game. Player Yazan is a perfect example of why DK should be in games, as he managed to get a top 10 on 10 of his accounts, filling the whole page with his name. Never seen anything similar in other games. They also added a Jade Guns. It was a new type of reward for competitive players, and I hope I don't need to explain why this thing just sucks. Pure disappointment, and in order to buy them, you need to play tons of ranked games. I also could talk about open queue mode, but this video would be an hour long, so in short, that game mode is completely dead. And the leaderboard says it all. Last top 100 player there is ranked Diamond 5. In my opinion, they needed to remove open queue a long time ago, but for some reason they want to split a ranked player base when they barely have any players left for a role queue. Also, for some reason, people who play open queue are getting the same rewards as role queue players. Basically, you can abuse the system and farm competitive rewards there, as it's much easier to get high rank in open queue due to a lack of players. Just no comments. Since this part is about competitive, I'd like to ask you about the Hero Mastery. Have you ever played this mode? And even if you did, have you played it more than one time? For those who don't know, it's just a cheap ass looking maps with NPCs and coins on it. The point is to get the highest score and improve your gaming skills. There's also a leaderboard in Hero Mastery. I find it ridiculous that they're still wasting their resources on such useless thing. They just keep adding new levels there, and I wish I could see a real statistics on how many people playing this. If you, as a company, scrapping the whole PvE concept, might as well do it for every aspect of it. And if you want to keep some kind of PvE, make it a high quality one. For example, Overwatch Archive Uprising was really a fun experience compared to that bogus looking like levels where you shoot NPCs. Now, let's talk about developers. With the current balance patches, I don't think any of the developers team playing their own game, and honestly, you can't blame them. Most of the developers team are gold platinum players. I have no idea what kind of source they're using to make balance patches for the game. Whether it's their own statistics or their platinum experience, I can totally say that they're balancing towards casual players, which is just absurd. In no way a competitive game should be balanced around people who are playing casually, because these are the people who's mostly having pure fun. They come back from school, job or uni, they have couple hours at best to enjoy the game, and no matter how many balance changes you're going to make for casuals, they're always going to cry about something that ranked players would find hilarious. For example, Widowmaker. If you didn't know, the developers nerfed Widowmaker's whole point, which is headshot. Basically, they changed her fall-off damage so that she can't one-shot heroes from beyond 50 meters, all thanks to platinum crybabies that were walking in a straight line like a bots. I also want to talk about developers' completely delusional changes that nobody asked for. I'm talking about increased hitboxes. We all remember this clip.
Indie company Blizzard balances their game. Season 9, Overwatch 2.
This is the difference between hitting a headshot and not hitting a headshot. Is right
What?
there. That is the difference between hitting a
What?
headshot and not hitting a headshot. I was wondering why things fell off with Season 9 of Overwatch.
Yeah.
And I know they changed the hitboxes. I can't be the only one that thinks that this is kind of crazy, right? Like,
What? Hold up.
that's actually insane.
That...
Like, look where I'm shooting. Widow doesn't need to hit a headshot to kill you. What kind of shit is this?
That is amazing. I should start playing Overwatch again.
No commentary needed. If that's not the proof that they're balancing towards casuals, I don't know what is then. Making the game easier does not equal better. In conclusion, honestly, Overwatch could be the greatest game of all time if only it had a better handling. It feels like devs are just squeezing money as hard as they can while the game is still on top. But regardless, players are still living the game, streamers swap into Deadlock or Marvel Rivals, and deep down inside, Overwatch streamers are screaming about something similar to Overwatch. Something they can swap to and enjoy the game instead of being caged. As for me, I most likely will try to pursue into streaming variety or just focus on streaming other games, since I streamed Overwatch for over 6 years. I just lost my passion for the game, but not for streaming. Thanks for watching, check out my streams and let me know your opinion in the comments.